Hey guys, I've got a special video today. I am going to be on with one of my partners, Dan Zarowski, and we're going to talk about a different kind of outsourcing, and we're going to talk about why we have our development office in Uruguay. So I think you'll really enjoy this video. Let's get into it.
Hey,
Hey Dan, how's it going?
how are you? Great. Nice to see
Good.
you.
Yeah, let's just get this out of the way. We're Build Online. We make custom software for entrepreneurs and small businesses. We're good at it. If you have a project that you would like to get started, go to buildonline.io, hit the button, and we'll be in touch. All right. So Dan I'm Ryan. I am the founder and original founder and one of the partners, technical director at Build Online, and I have with me Dan Zarowski. Dan, tell us what you
How are
do.
you? Yeah, okay. So I do a lot of stuff here at Build Online. First of all, I think that I take care about human resources and a little bit of financial stuff, but also I'm a front-end developer, and I start as a front-end developer with you a few years ago. So that's primarily what I
He,
do.
Dan is underselling himself. Dan is he and I act as we're founders and partners, and we sort of act like a co-CEO of the company. And so he is a huge part of Build Online. And I'm glad to finally get you on the channel and talk about some
Yeah,
content stuff.
excited. Me too.
So
Me too.
we have an office in South America, in Montevideo, Uruguay. And I thought it'd be good to just talk about why you have to outsource in the first place. So,
Yeah.
like, from a financial standpoint, why do we have to outsource, Dan?
The financial standpoint, it's clear to me. Like half cost and very good quality. Like that's the it's key, no? For
Yeah,
us, it gives an opportunity to be more competitive, to have a decent hourly rate in United States, but it cost us half of what it's going to cost you to build an entire team US based.
yeah,
So I
probably
would say
much
that,
less than
that's
half, to be
primary.
honest. We
Yes, yes,
we so I think if we had to hire all American developers, we do have some American developers, but if we had to hire all American developers, we would be pricing ourselves out of 90% of the work that we do because you have to I think the minimum is probably three times the in the industry, three times what you pay your average employee is your hourly rate, and that would double or triple our cost to the customer.
yes,
And so what we've been able to do is find this group of people that's amazing and pay them very well, right? And really improve their quality of life, but at the same time, keep our costs down for our end user. And we wouldn't be able to do that if we were just in the United States.
for
A
sure.
second reason is it's hard to find people, right? Like, why is it hard to find people in the States? And
Basically, I think that almost everyone is taken. It's working for another company, or like let's say the big ones, Facebook, Google, Amazon, everyone. Like takes a lot of resources, a lot of people. So it's hard, and also qualified people. It's hardest, I would say.
yeah, so you got to outsource. So just part of it. Everybody's doing it, and we do it too. I think we do it a different way, and we'll get to that at
Exactly.
the end. I'm looking forward to it. I want to kind of
Yes.
tell our story. So I started the company as Rowan Table. You might remember that's what the channel used to be called,
Yes.
Rowan Table, and we switched it a couple months ago to Build Online. We've been using the name Build Online for our company now for over a year and a half, and we're in the process of changing that name legally. Um, but I was for a couple years early on. I was doing what we do, creating custom software for people and really learning the hard way how to do it. And I worked with all different kinds of developers. I worked with developers for a while in India. I worked for developers in Eastern Europe. I got burned personally, not through Rowan Table, but through other projects that I was doing. I got burned by hiring the wrong kind of people. But I had one really successful guy that I hired, and he was in Buenos Aires, Argentina. His name was Carlos. If you're watching this, Carlos, how's it going? Carlos, Carlos was just amazing. Culturally, hard worker, English was great. And he was so good that I ended up getting him a job with one of our clients, and he now has an ownership stake in that company, and the company is doing really well. And so there was a point where we needed to hire more people, and I was like, forget everything else. I'm going to find some more Carloses, and that led me to you. So tell me about that, Dan.
Yeah, I remember. I was part of one of those freelancer platforms that if you're a freelance, you get hired, or you apply to jobs. And I had zero experience. So it was grateful to see that 1 year after I create my profile, I received like a message from Ryan Hayden saying that if I want to apply to a job, or like get connected to see if it was a good fit. And from day one, I think that it was like a very good match. We get connected. We share a lot of qualities, I will say. And I remember that I was a little bit nervous because the English barrier, and because I don't know what was the challenges. No, I was learning to be a developer. So
yeah.
But what I remember from day one is like we get connected, and it was a very good match.
Yeah,
that was my feeling.
I remember the mind-blowing moment for me was I was visiting my family in New Hampshire, and I was at Five Guys, and for some reason we were on the phone discussing some project or something, and I was like, where are you? I'm like, Five Guys burgers and fries. He's like, yeah, I like Five Guys, but I like Shake Shack better. And I was like, wait a minute, you've been to the United States? Like, in my mind, I thought, people in South America just lived in South America, and it turns out like you are very well traveled. You've traveled, and almost all of our developers and people are far more well traveled than I am. And just culturally, I was blown away by that. So we hit it off really well. And very soon after that, you said, I can find more people like me. And we decided to go into business together and formalize that. And so now he's one of our partners, one of our owners, and it's been great. It's been amazing the last couple of years. And we hire primarily for developers. We hire now in Uruguay. You're sitting in our office there, yes. Right? You just had to ask some people, some of our developers, to move to another room because we
yeah, it was a lot of noise. Yeah,
there was a lot of noise. But we have an office in Uruguay, and we have how many people in Uruguay now that are on our team?
We are 12 in Uruguay. I was
12 people.
Yes.
So, and I think we have 6 or 7 in the United States and a few elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. But let's talk about Uruguay. Like, why Uruguay? That's obviously where you're from, so that's the main reason why we're hiring in Uruguay. But I think we have 5 reasons why we ended up hiring in Uruguay. So
yeah, I would say time zone key.
Yeah,
key, because it's like a variability. You work in the same routine. It's easy to get connected. It's easy to solve problems. Easy to have meetings. So it's key when you are a remote, 100% remote team like us. So. And it's something that not all the people realize that, because I know that you work with India, and it's a completely different story besides the cultural stuff, no?
Yeah. Oh man, I remember, like, I had this one great developer in India, but the hard thing was, like, he was working while I was sleeping. And so every morning I had to wake up really early to talk to him, or I had to stay up really late to talk to him. And if something bad happened, that there was some question that needed to be answered, it just delayed work for a whole day because the time zone was so off. Another thing that was hard about working with people in Asia was the cultural differences. And I feel like there's such a cultural similarity between the United States and Uruguay that that's not a problem at all. So not only are we basically working at the same time, you know, but culturally, like you guys are hard workers. You're well traveled. Like I tell people sometimes that you could take any of our guys from Build Online in Uruguay and drop them into a Starbucks anywhere in the United States, and nobody would notice, right? It's like,
Yes, it's true.
tell me a little bit about the culture there. Like,
Yeah, the culture here, as you say, we are very hard workers. It's something that it's very common here because the distances are close enough, and basically 80% of the country lives on Montevideo. You get to know a lot of people. You share, maybe you share the college, or you share some different experience, and that creates like something which is, hey, we are close. We are close. Also, Latin American culture is like be more close. It's but in Europe, I think that the distances, like no one live. There is a percentage of people that lives outside the city, but it's nothing in comparison with the main city. So
yeah,
that helped us to be close and to share stuff. It's not so different here. Uh, Sorry, because not all our people lives outside. Maybe, for example, California and Illinois, completely two different stories because
yeah,
distances are different, policies are different, and here it's like everything is the same. So I think that is part of the reasons. And,
yeah. So
and
we have an office there, right? That people can come into, and there's a couple of guys that are this morning working, but like
yes,
default is everybody works at home. But you have this place where they can all meet and do training and that sort of stuff. Culturally, from my perspective as an American, like I've not worked with a group of people that feel more like on board with us than the people that we've worked with in South America. It's been great. You mentioned education. One of the things I've been impressed with about Uruguay in particular is their education system. Tell me about the laptop thing.
yeah, Uruguay education. First of all, very good public education, also private as well. And I think that Uruguay was one of the first countries which implemented the Ceibal plan, which is like Uruguay government give to every child, I don't remember the age, a free computer, a free laptop, which has internet in everywhere. So that creates opportunities, open doors. Like they start to learn stuff from YouTube. They start to do tech project in the schools, and for sure that it was a few years ago. So we are seeing right now the results for that decision. In the past, that was a very good, and that creates like this tech culture, And
Yeah.
we are. Uh, I think that we are seeing like the Palo Alto or the from
Yeah,
Latin America, I would
yeah.
say.
We'll get to that in a second. But like one thing that I've noticed about Uruguay is you guys have a free college education program.
Yes.
And the people that we've hired are they're getting we've hired a bunch of people right out of college, and they're getting a very good education. Like I know what they're teaching in the United States, and it's comparable or better than what people are getting if they go to school to be a developer in the United States. And so like it's really, really good. So we have this, you have between the free laptops for kids and the free education, you really are developing this amazing tech scene there in Montevideo. And some people have said like Montevideo is like the Silicon Valley,
Silicon Valley, yeah.
of South America. There's like a bunch of like really big tech businesses that are starting there right now, right? And then you've got companies like Microsoft and Facebook that are building offices there so that they can take advantage of hiring people. Just blows my mind, the tech scene that's blowing up, in Uruguay. And we get to be beneficiaries of that because we're around that. So yeah, it's awesome. All right. One other thing about Uruguay that I think is pretty neat is like, from my perspective, it seems like a very nice place, right?
It
Tell
is.
us about it.
Yeah, it's a nice country. You have the Rambla, which is like you are able to see the ocean, and I personally get oriented with that. I remember that I get lost when I've been in Matun, which you don't have like a you don't have the sea. So for me,
Yeah.
it was harder
We,
to get oriented.
we,
You have a
we
currency, yeah.
yeah, our high school mascot in my town is the green wave. Like literally a sea of corn is the idea for our mascot.
Exactly. I
So,
remember the
and
highway playing
yeah,
that. So yeah, it's a nice country, nice weather. You don't have also bad weather conditions or bad, like for example, hurricanes and all that stuff. You don't have here. Um, and then you have Punta del Este, which is super cool. In summer, it's super hot as well, and it's close. I would say it's like Miami because you have
yeah.
nice buildings and stuff, and but like quiet, more relaxed. It's really a nice place. I recommend everyone to come at least 1 week and enjoy and see.
Yeah,
For sure.
everybody I know from the States that's been to Uruguay has been like, I would live there. Like
Yes.
that's a great place. And so just it sounds like it's amazing. All right. So one other thing I wanted to say about this, we've talked about our story and we've talked about Uruguay. I want to say one other thing, and we'll wrap this up about Build Online that I think is different from other companies, and it is just our mindset towards outsourcing. So I have a saying that is sort of one of our mottos, and that's hire smart people and treat them like smart people, right? So a lot of companies outsource, and they hire a warehouse full of people in Bangladesh or in India or somewhere else, in Asia or Europe, and they treat that outsourced part almost like a machine, right?
A factory, yeah.
A factory. And that is not how our outsourcing works at all. In fact, you just were in the room with Juan and Fabian, and I know personally, like I know every single person that works for us, and I have, it's not, we used to be able to do weekly conversations, but now it's more like monthly conversations. But I'm constantly talking to them. We have team meetings where we all get together and play games remotely. We are invested in them doing well. Every single person on our team is we're proud of. We're not trying to hide them. It's not there. We do not have a warehouse full of people in Montevideo that we're a factory full of people in Montevideo that we're like, sort of ashamed of. Like we are very, very proud of each of our team members there, and we treat them just like we would treat people in the United States. They're no lesser because they live in this city in South America. And I just think that's a unique thing about our company. What do you think about that, Dan? I mean,
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like, and the people here feel like no, that we feel even that we have the difference in distance and small cultural stuff because it's a reality. We feel like one team, and everyone loves that. Everyone loves the flexibility that our company is given. It's given give to our people. So yeah,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
that.
it's a different thing. I mean, we're like I've traveled to meet up with people when they come here for vacation and
Yeah.
meet their girlfriends, and we have one of our team leads is getting married next year, early next year, and we're planning to be there. Some of us Americans are planning to travel to South America to go to his wedding. It's a very different sort of way of outsourcing. And so if you have experience with outsourcing and you've been burned, I've been there. I understand what that's like. I just want you to know this is a completely different thing. We're very proud of our people in Montevideo, and it's a great relationship that we have. So Dan, thanks for coming on. This has been a great conversation. Sorry if I talked it didn't let you talk too much. But,
no problem. No problem. Thank you.
We're gonna have you on again, and we'll
sure.
see you guys later in the next video.